Hey, look. You see yourself right there? Okay, that's you. All right, well, this weekend I'm getting ready to head up to New York to exhibit in the Bridgehampton Art Affair. It's a brand new art show this year that Howard Allen Events is putting on. And usually I'm a little bit nervous with first year shows, but Howard Allen really knows what he's doing with his shows, right? He knows what to do. Even Milo knows. So I know it's going to be a well-run show altogether. Plus the Hamptons, I do really well out in the Hamptons. I've been showing out there for 17 years, so I have a big mailing list out there. I've had a nice few weeks here at home with Milo and my wife Katie. So normally I'd be pretty nervous and anxious about leaving to go to an art show and being away from my family, but it's not as bad this week because I get to take Milo with me. He's going to be coming up to New York for the art show and to visit some of our family that still lives up there. Most importantly, going to get to see my grandma and Milo's great-grandma, who is 103 years old, and she'll be 104 this year. So it'll be her first time meeting Milo, and that'll be really special. But now I'm actually nervous and anxious about flying with the baby for the first time. Thankfully, Katie's really on top of things and making sure that we have everything prepared that we need for this guy to travel. Hopefully, he's a good flyer because we're going to be doing some bigger trips coming up later this summer. And if he doesn't, he can just stay home when we go places from now on. And actually, too, this painting behind me is a beautiful painting by Anna Monsanto. And Milo loves this painting. He loves the color blue, so he just loves to sit on the couch here and stare at this painting. And I just want to show off in this clip here just how beautiful this painting by Anna Monsanto is. So we're so happy to have that on our wall. So it's been around a month since my last show, and my last show ended up not being so great because of some bad weather. Of course, I never want to have a bad show, but having a bad show right before a break is always unsettling to me because I feel like you're only as good as your last show. And if your last show before a break is great, then you feel like, oh, I don't have anything to worry about. The next show I do is going to be awesome. But if your last show before a break isn't so good, then I get worried in that break and I start thinking, oh, maybe, art shows are over and I'm never going to sell art again. And I was talking to another artist during setup yesterday, and they were telling me that their last 5 shows or so far this year haven't really been very good because after COVID, a lot of artists experienced this COVID bounce where, there was a lot of pent-up demand for art shows and a lot of people had moved or remodeled their homes. So there was a lot of high demand for artwork and shows were really great. It was like every show was almost a record-setting show. And so far this year, some shows have been up and some shows have been down for me. Things might be starting to get back to a little bit of the normal range for things as far as art shows go. But it's really hard to tell from just a kind of a small sampling size. Even with the amount of shows I've done so far this year, it's kind of hard to tell what the pattern really is because there are so many things that can affect art shows. You have weather, the economy, political situations. All these things can have a big dramatic effect on an art show. I was listening to the Independent Artist podcast on my way out to the show here to set up yesterday. It was the episode with the Zachmans. And they had mentioned in the episode that their last show wasn't very good. It was in the DC area. It was right around the time where they were going through that debt ceiling talks in Congress. So there was a lot of political and economic instability at the time, and they felt that really affected the show. There's a lot of things as an artist that are out of our control as far as art sales go, and it's hard to tell why your artwork might not be selling. But there are some things that are within our control as artists that can help make sure that every show is great. A lot of artists ask me through these videos and at art shows where they can have large metal prints like these made. So I want to take a moment and tell you about shinyprints.com. Over the years, I've worked with a bunch of different print labs, and none of them have even come close to the quality and service that I get from Shiny Prints. And in addition to the best quality, they also have the best prices when you open your account through the link in the description of this video. And you'll save an additional 20% on your first order when you use the coupon code ER1208. I am part of their affiliate program, although this is not a sponsorship and they are not paying me to say this. I just really love what they do, and I think you will too. Now back to the video. As much as I've tried, I found I'm not really able to control things like the weather, the economy, political issues, and other things that impact art shows. In fact, today it's a little rainy, and yesterday was beautiful and sunny, and I'm sure both of those things are going to have an impact on the art show this weekend. Unfortunately, not every show is going to be great, no matter how long you've been doing this. And even at the best shows, there are people who do great and there are people who do terrible. The last show I did before this one is usually one of my best of the year, and this year I didn't do so well. And this weekend I'm doing great, so past failures and past successes are not always indicators of future success and failures. But I've learned to just control what I can control in order to have a good show. And I do have control over things like my attitude and making sure that I greet everyone who comes into my booth and engage with them as if I'm having a great time, even if I'm absolutely miserable. I can control how much I noodle on my phone during a show. I'm certainly not going to make any sales if I'm sitting around looking at memes on Instagram. And above all, one of the things we can all continue to do is make great art. And that's what it's all really about, isn't it? This idea of controlling what we can control is the approach that Katie and I took when we were flying up here with Milo on his first flight the other day. And if you want to see how that went, go watch this video right now.